Power dynamics and social control. Power dynamics and social control are two important ideas that help us understand how societies stay organized and how people's behaviors are guided. In simple words, power dynamics describe who has influence over others and how that influence is used. Social control explains how societies make sure people follow rules and behave properly. Together, they help explain why some people lead while others follow, why some rules are accepted, and how order is maintained in human life. Power exists everywhere, in families, schools, workplaces, and governments. It is the ability to make decisions that affect others. Not all power is negative. For example, teachers have power over students to maintain discipline, and parents guide their children using authority for their well-being. Governments use power to make and enforce laws that keep society safe and stable. But power can become unfair or abusive when it is used to control, silence, or exploit others. This is why understanding how power works is important in studying social life. In every relationship, there are power dynamics. For example, a boss has power over an employee, a teacher over students, or parents over children. These power relations are not fixed, they can change. When people resist unfair treatment or demand equality, the balance of power can shift. For instance, when workers form unions or citizens protest for justice, they challenge existing power structures. This shows that power is not something one person permanently owns, it is created and maintained through relationships, communication, and social systems. Power is not always about physical strength or authority. Sometimes it works through influence, knowledge, or persuasion. A famous philosopher, Michel Foucault, explained that power is present in every part of life, in schools, hospitals, media, and families. He said that people often control themselves because society teaches them what is acceptable and what is not. This kind of control does not come from fear or force but from internalizing social expectations. This leads to the idea of social control. Social control means the ways society makes sure that people follow its norms, values, and laws. Without it, societies would become disorganized and unstable. Social control can be formal or informal. Formal social control includes laws, rules, and systems like police, courts, and governments. These ensure that people follow regulations, and if they do not, they face punishments like fines or jail. Informal social control comes from everyday interactions, through family, friends, religion, or culture. When someone is praised for good behavior or criticized for bad behavior, that is informal control. Both forms help maintain order, peace, and cooperation. Informal control is usually more powerful in small or traditional communities where people care deeply about reputation and relationships. Formal control becomes more necessary in large, modern societies where direct personal relationships are fewer. A healthy society uses both, shared moral values for unity and formal laws for fairness. Power and social control are deeply linked. Those in power often create systems of control to maintain their authority. Governments, for example, use education, religion, and media to shape people's beliefs about what is right or wrong. Schools teach discipline and obedience, while media can spread certain ideas that support those in control. These systems make people behave in expected ways, not always by force but by shaping how they think. However, social control is not always fair. Sometimes it protects the interests of powerful groups and keeps others silent or limited. For instance, in societies where women or certain ethnic groups have less power, social control can be used to justify inequality. Ideas like women should stay at home or some people are born to lead are examples of social control disguised as culture. These beliefs make inequality seem natural. But people are not powerless. Throughout history, people have resisted unfair power and control. Movements for civil rights, democracy, and gender equality are examples of ordinary people challenging oppressive systems. When people unite and demand justice, power begins to shift. This shows that power is not unchangeable, it can be questioned and reformed when citizens become aware and active. Modern life adds new layers to power and control, especially through technology. Social media, for example, gives people a voice and allows them to question authority. Yet, at the same time, these platforms collect personal data and influence opinions through algorithms. This creates a new kind of digital power where people can be controlled by what they see or believe online. Governments and corporations can use this to shape public opinion or behavior without people realizing it. Education is another key area where power and control operate. Schools teach not only knowledge but also behavior, discipline, and respect for authority. This prepares individuals to fit into society. However, education can also be a space of freedom where people learn to think critically and question authority. The type of education people receive often determines whether they become independent thinkers or obedient followers. Power dynamics also exist in small daily actions. A manager deciding who gets promoted, a parent setting rules for a child, or a friend convincing another to do something, all involve subtle uses of power. What matters most is how that power is used. If it helps others, it builds trust and cooperation. If it is used to control or manipulate, it creates conflict and resentment. The best societies are those where power is shared fairly and used for collective good rather than personal gain. Sociologists emphasize that understanding power and control helps people see how society works beneath the surface. It shows how laws, beliefs, and institutions shape behavior and maintain balance. But it also reminds us that power is not permanent. People have the ability to change systems through awareness, unity, and resistance. When citizens understand how power operates, they can demand fairness, challenge corruption, and create more equal societies. In conclusion, power dynamics and social control are the invisible forces that shape human relationships and social order. Power helps organize society but can also lead to inequality if misused. Social control keeps order but can also silence individuality if too strict. The key is balance, using power responsibly and ensuring that control is based on justice and equality. A society becomes strong when its people understand these dynamics, participate in decision-making, and stand for fairness. If you enjoyed this explanation and want to learn more about sociology and psychology, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more thought-provoking content.